killed for an opinion. Yeah, okay. I guess that's how the internet works, right? And now look at this place. If there's anything the internet hates more than an opinion, it's someone changing their opinion. And apparently hell doesn't like it either, since all it took to freeze over was for me to admit that, you know, I like Sonic Lost World 3DS. It's really, okay. Yeah, no, you know what? This place sucks. I'm going home. Well, I mean, actually, there might be a small problem with that. I don't know how to get out of here.
I couldn't help but overhear you were looking for a way home. If you'd like, I could offer a suggestion for the small price of...
Sold. Spill it, Satan.
Really? You don't even want to know what I'm asking of you? You're totally fine with someone hitching a ride back with you.
Hitch whatever you want, dude. There's no mac and cheese here, and I'm craving real bad.
Say no more, friend. Now listen up. You've already destroyed hell with your terrible opinions, so keep them coming. Monologue like hell to get out of hell. What makes Sonic Lost World 3DS so good?
Well, if there's one thing I am good at, it's being loud and annoying. So I think this is going to be one hell of a video.
You stink!
Hello everybody, I'm Garrulous64, and today, I'll be eating my words. Let me set the scene for you. It's a crisp October day in the year 2013, and a new Sonic game is just released. Wii U owners all over the world, all 15 of them, me included, gear up for the newest Sonic game, and wow! What a stinker! Like, for real, this isn't Generations 2, what is this? Mario Galaxy except without all the good? Not long after that, a second version releases, and being the sucker I've always been, I pick it up, and this was the version I actually played to completion. My exact feelings were pretty much summed up with a, it's not that bad, and then it goes untouched for years, thus allowing my brain to soak up all the other people's criticisms of the game and slowly warp my perception of it, until I'm positive this is a mess of a game that can hardly even be called better than the Wii U one. But wouldn't you know it, like with most things in life, I was wrong. There's honestly a really short supply of things in this world that are worse than Lost World Wii U, and Lost World 3DS definitely isn't among those things. Dimps, once again proving they're the MVPs of Sonic, actually managed to take everything from the Wii U version and provide a much more entertaining product, and it's not even funny how much better this one is. Perhaps most importantly, much like classic Sonic and Generations 3DS, Dimps decided to go ahead and make the controls worlds better. When a game is fun to control, it automatically becomes a strong contender for my favorite games of all time list, and after a few seconds of gameplay, I was shocked at how good it felt to move Sonic around the tutorial area. Gone was the stiffness of the Wii U version, for even things like the spin dash were totally fixed and now make for a great way to speed through sections as long as you have good enough reflexes for it. This already gets rid of one of my biggest complaints with the Wii U version, but I wouldn't be praising it this much if that was the only fix included in this product. You remember that whole parkour system that Sonic Team made into the main gimmick of this game? Yeah, me neither, because the main version basically relegated it to one or two wall running sections and then it turned into a glorified ledge grab mechanic. Over here in Dimpsland, however, they made an effort to have it appear consistently throughout the entire game, and it's utilized a lot better than the console version, but of course that's not saying much because the console version didn't utilize it at all. Whoop whoop! Usually when you introduce a gimmick like this, it's, you know, good to actually use it. Otherwise it turns into what the cool kids call missed potential. And then people never shut up about it, as if the potential for a game to be better means that I should respect it more as a whole. Real talk? No. Just no. Like, I'm not going to think about how good something could have been. I'm going to judge it on what is included in the $60 package I purchased, because that is all that matters. On the opposite side of things, something the Wii U version did have a lot of was this totally not tubular level design. God, that was a mess. It made every single level so boring, bland, and samey. I guess it's a bit hypocritical to say that they shouldn't have explored this gimmick as much as they did after scolding them for doing the opposite, but they went hard with the bad gimmick instead of the one that could have actually made for a really fun experience. Case in point, the 3DS version has a lot less of this bleh and a lot more inspired and creative level design as a result, that still has plenty of space for the player to run around and make most of the abilities that they gave you. And that's because they didn't feel the need to make every single level into a sausage that's stuffed with bad level design and sadness. And if you're about to say that it's not a bad gimmick because Galaxy was able to pull it off and do really well, I'll give you that it works better there for sure, but I honestly wasn't a big fan of it there either. I honestly vastly preferred the more traditional levels in Galaxy as opposed to the gravity experiments. Now, since I've been overly positive for this entire video so far, I thought I would maybe move into the negatives, because I'm pretty good at talking about negative things, though people do get angry at me when I'm negative about Blue Hog Game. You know, I've been hearing that Sonic fans don't like it when they throw 2D sections into the 3D game. That's something I think we can all agree on. Isn't that crazy? We're all on the same team this time? What? Huh? For as much as I like this version of the game, I've gotta say that no matter which one you pick, the 2D sections are very, very... In my experience, in these more cramped areas, Sonic moves way too fast to react to half the stuff that's coming your way, and your only alternative is to let go of the run button and make the game play unbearably slow. This might be a good option in the puzzle levels like the Pyramid and Desert Ruins, but as a whole, these just don't really feel as optimized for Sonic's controls as the rest of the game does. At least they're pretty reserved with the 2D levels for when they pop up. Like, I don't even think there's one in every single world, but I could be wrong on that. Let's see, more negatives. Oh, well, here's a pretty obvious one. Forced motion controls? A classic Nintendo move pulled by Sega. Look how far we've come from the console wars, guys. This is so cute. The Wisps return in this game, much to everyone's confusion, and while many of them are fine, like, why do we need to tilt the console to work this little boulder wisp? The circle pad would have been just fine and more accurate, thanks. Really, nothing against the 3DS's gyroscope. I mean, hell, in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3D, that's the best way to aim, but my problem lies with dropping this control scheme into places where it easily could have been done otherwise. One is a luxury, and the other is a hindrance. And you know I'm gonna mention those special stages. My god, what? I think I'm comfortable calling these things the worst in the entire franchise? Like, who's with me on that? Like, I applaud that this game has a more direct route to obtaining Supersonic, as, you know, in the console version you need to collect all the red rings, this one you just need to get the emerald. But I will never suffer through these unless someone ends up holding me at gunpoint. Man, what a strange request that would be. If you could maybe just turn Sonic around without physically having to spin yourself in a circle, maybe they'd be a little bit more tolerable, but these are a nightmare. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to tie my spine in a knot because some masochist over at Dimps thought these weren't so bad. The story's also garbage because of the deadly disappointments and Diet Bowser over there, but I think I've talked enough about that in the past, if you remember. So let's move on to the stages so I can gush about them, and also complain, and, you know, also throw in witty one-liners here and there, because that's just sort of the formula. We are surely in for a treat now. Windy Hill Zone? Windy Hill Zone? I still don't really know the right pronunciation. English is stupid. But Windy Hill kind of makes more sense, right? This is what we're using to fulfill our Green Hill quota this time around, and the tutorial level and first level provide exactly what you need to learn how to play the game. As, you know, they should. Whether it be learning about the enemies you need to stun with your new Sonic Boom attack versus homing attacking them right away, or figuring out how the parkour works for later, there's never a dull moment. Well, until you get to the underground stage, that is, because this is the point where a lot of people swear this game off. And probably also swear just in general. I don't know, I'm not your dad, I'm not gonna tell on you. A lot of stages in this game go on for a good chunk of time, and people seem to really dislike that, but there were only one or two stages where I really felt like that was a problem. I mean, otherwise, it just means there's more to play, and why would that be a bad thing if I'm having fun? Remember, just because they give you 15 minutes to finish the stage, doesn't mean it's actually going to take that long. Before you're able to jump over to the next world, the best of the worst, Zaz, gets in your way. And let's just get this out of the way right now, all the bosses in this version are totally different than the console version, except for the final boss. Isn't that just dandy? Because, you know, some of the console boss fights kind of bite a little bit. The gist of all of them, though, still kind of revolves around the multi-hit homing attack, which I don't really care for. It's sort of awkward to get it up to full strength for the bosses, but you could always just spam it instead. The fights will just last a little longer. Desert Ruins brings us two firsts. Our first mandatory Wisp, thankfully without motion controls, and our first level that's a tad too long. Here we meet up with the Asteroid Wisp, and it's used to devour the tornadoes that block Sonic's path. I feel a little bit bad for him, though, because I wouldn't wish sand in the mouth on my worst enemy. The Asteroid Wisp also makes short work of even the largest foes once your ring of destructive energy grows big enough. The sand conveyor belt level is just a huge annoyance from start to finish. You start off in this section where you have to fight to reach the end of it to hit a couple switches, and that takes like 6 minutes if you're me, and then you think you're coming up on the end when you finally hit these rings, but no, the stage just keeps going for another 3 minutes anyway, and there's not much I can consider fun throughout its entire runtime. Zammom decides to oppose you here, but much like Sonic Colors DS, using optional wisps provided to you in these fights can melt any Zeddy faster than a game reviewer could say a rough transition to 3D. Tropical Coast is the water and apple juice world. The Drill Wisp returns and makes navigating underwater sections an absolute blast. A Sonic blast? Oh, wait a minute, I can't say that anymore because that game was terrible. And I bet you're wondering where the apple juice comes in, right? Well, there's one stage where you end up pushing apples around for 6 minutes to raise the height of the platform you're standing on, and I've heard people call this one really slow and boring, but I honestly really liked each little challenge room that you had to push these apples through. They just could have probably made the pushing mechanics a little bit less obtuse. Other than that, the only crime this level commits is making me thirsty. How dare you? Master Zic's boss fight might be part of a balanced breakfast, but it's also fairly unbalanced because the 2D controls are horrible here. The mix of the gravity mechanic and their subpar 2D formula is a terrible combination. You end up not knowing what direction to hold half the time because you keep moving forward, then you'll just stop dead in your tracks and you'll have to figure out, it's like, do I have to push down or left or up or... you're pushing something, you're pushing my buttons. That's basically the hardest part of the fight, aside from waiting around for something to happen. Make sure to grab that drill wisp and end this thing quickly. Master Zic really needs to get back to Dagobah so we can train some guy in the way of the Sonic Force. Might as well wrap it up now, that's probably the best we're getting out of this script. Frozen Factory has a pretty bad reputation amongst the people who've played this game, and it doesn't offer the skating gameplay from the Wii U version, which is a shame because they probably would have made it pretty fun here. But instead, they offer a very familiar Sonic trope: snowboarding. And this ain't your Sonic Adventures snowboarding, no way, no how. This actually turns into a really challenging section. When you're first introduced, it's a calming little jaunt through a winter wonderland, complete with a trick system. Praise be to Dimps for bringing back the trick system. But fast forward to several minutes past this bit and you come face to face with a gauntlet of a stage that might be the longest in the entire game. You got your death-defying Evel Knievel stunts, you got your surplus of lives thrown around the game because they knew it'd be hard and you'd be dying a lot, you've got your cool little cinematics at the end of the whole thing so you feel like a really cool dude that's doing cool things with your life. That's cool. I love it. It's cool. No pun intended, pun entirely intended, whatever. And of course, you can't forget everyone's favorite stage, the snowball level. Just like the fruit stage, you end up rolling things around, but this time it's snow, and each time you roll it, it kind of amasses more snow and gets bigger, so you can fit them inside holes in the ground, resulting in paths opening up for you. Now, if that explanation sounded boring and slow, that's to match how the stage plays, because there is not 1 second of the stage that's actually enjoyable. I think it was the only one where I wasn't having fun. If it was like half the length that it is and it didn't ask you to do the exact same thing 100 times over, maybe it would be a little bit better. Now comes the worst of the deadly dumpster fires, Xena. Man, I hate these characters so much. Xena constantly expels all the hot air from inside her head, which forces Sonic backwards. To wound the Zeddy, Sonic has to homing attack her snowman, releasing a lightning wisp, and then use it to eviscerate her little snow drones, so you can then use them as a pathway up to Xena herself. This one might be a little finicky, but I love the concept of it, and really anything is better than the original one. Continuing along the new Super Mario Bros. Theme trend, it's time for a forest world. Silent Forest is definitely the most varied in terms of gameplay styles. Act 1 makes heavy use, pun entirely intended, again, of the Grey Quake Wisp's ground pound ability. Act 2 is a rail grinding section, sort of like Sea-Bottom Segway, except a million times more engaging. And the third is Metal Gear Solid, but with more fast. Motion control bias aside, Grey Quake isn't terrible to control as you're only tilting left and right instead of doing your best owl impression with your spine. Though again, the level could have been a little shorter and I wouldn't have complained about it. Now about the Sea-Bottom Segway comparison, please put down your torches and just enjoy this stage. The reason I like this more than the Wii U one is because it feels like I'm a lot more involved in what's going on. From what I remember about the Wii U grinding stages, it's a lot of just sitting there doing nothing and waiting for things to happen, like minecarts coming at you and you jumping over them or dodging the occasional electrified rail. But in this one, you're constantly hopping back and forth dodging obstacles, and it doesn't feel like there's ever a dull moment, and it's got me feeling some kind of way, like I'm feeling a feeling long thought dead in my body, like, I think I used to call it enjoyment? Yeah, crazy, I know, right? I think I also enjoyed the stealth section, but the jury's still out on that one. For now, let's just say it was okay. All those nice feelings go away when the boss loads up, though. Remember when I said owl earlier? I bet you thought that was just random word choice, but psych, that was actually foreshadowing. Zor and Owl also both only have 3 letters. Coincidence? Absolutely. Use your mandatory motion controls to find the real Zor, or destroy all the fake Zors and help him with his imposter syndrome, which I am positive that he has. Hang in there, dude. You're amongst friends. As long as my math skills haven't deteriorated as far as I think they have, I think I'm right in saying that so far we've defeated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Zeddy, and 6 comes after 5, so it's time for everyone's favorite character, Big Papa Zavok. Sound the chat alarms. And no, I'm not gonna call him Zavok. You can't make me. Zavok doesn't really strike me as a demonic entity that could get into heaven, but here we are in Cloud World. Or is it a casino stage? Maybe he is the devil? Ignoring that 2D slog, my favorite level in this entire world is surprisingly enough the one with the motion-controlled rockets. Just like Grey Quake, all you need to do is tilt the 3DS left or right, and you make your way through these little obstacle courses that get more fun by the second. But they're still challenging because one hit sends you tumbling down to the cruel Minecraft below. How's it feel, Sonic? The mine's on the other craft now. You can also use the rockets for their intended purpose and slaughter badniks with them. Justice has been served, pufferfish. And so it's come to this. I went skydiving, and not Rocky Mountain climbing, because we're not doing that. We're just fighting a big, angry moron. And his fight, honestly, isn't that great. It's okay, but I sort of like the big Zavok encounter, even though it was just a carbon copy of the giant Bowser encounter from New Super Mario Bros. 2. What a shocker! Something from Lost World feels like a Mario game? I bet no one has ever thought this ever, am I right? Like, what? At least busting this idiot's health bar with the laser wisp does make me feel good. Hey, do you guys like Mega Man? Oh man, of course you don't. You only like Sonic. That was a silly question. But I was asking because Lava Mountain is a boss rush. So, go do all that stuff again. I'll be here when you get back, probably. Oh, then comes the Tails boss fight, of course. Oh, psych, gotcha. That doesn't happen. And we've finally arrived at our destination at the end, and Dr. Eggman is the final boss, suddenly. Man, I wonder if the writers thought we wouldn't see this coming. Like, they're not gonna kill essential characters in a kid's game, unless you're a Zeddy, I guess. Because Sonic turned those fellas into Cheeto dust in the Wii U version. This one's pretty similar to the Wii U version, if I remember correctly, but I'm not sure if he has an insta-kill move there, too. I'm still a firm believer that no boss or player character should ever have those unless they're really well telegraphed, and this one is not. I had actually no idea why I died the first time. It happened while I was blinking. And then the game ends. Unless you're a pro gamer, that is, and you want to take on hard mode. The levels change color, and Dimps throw spikes everywhere. It's basically Dimps getting into the mindset of every 6-year-old playing Mario Maker 2, just, you know, throw a lot of challenging obstacles everywhere with no concern for player safety. It's all good. I played 2 levels of this, but I'm not going to check it out in its entirety for this video because it's just bonus, but I will be streaming a full playthrough of this mode over on my Twitch channel, which you can find in the description, along with the time and date that the stream will be happening. Be there or be there. Just be there. You should be there. And now I can leave hell because I talked about a video game for a little bit. Oh hey, alright, that must be my ride. I might as well head over there using my legs. Ah, there we go. Out of one cold void and into another one. Yeah, home sweet home. And that's Sonic Lost World 3DS. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit embarrassed for letting other people's opinions of the game kind of warp my perception of it over the last several years when there was a great game just sitting there waiting for me to rediscover it. You know, that's probably fine. I mean, nothing bad ever crawled out of a portal to hell, right? I'm in danger. You ever drink a decaf coffee and still get all jittery? That's me. That's my life. If you made it to the end of the video, please let me know in the comments, because I would love to see who's actually watching all this way. And also, if you liked this video and you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe, click the bell, follow my Twitter, and join the Discord to keep up with more Sonic reviews and other things that aren't Sonic reviews, because I do a lot of things. I'd also like to give a huge shout out to my current supporters, who are Danny Dauber, Mike TGC, Chaotic Mercenary, Dylan Plays, Cosmic Mushroom, Raiden Still Plays, Chaos, Ty Little Tech Guy, Jaded Indolent, Jeremy, Lucas the Tall Man, Mega Traffic Cone, Crystal, and everyone else who's supporting me in the $1 tiers. Thank you guys so much for even just $1, because that really helps. That adds up, depending on how many people actually do it. And if you have any interest in becoming a supporter yourself, you can check out the join button beneath the video, or my Patreon link in the card up at the top right. You'll get stuff such as shoutouts and also bonus blooper videos when I'm feeling goofy enough, which is usually every single day. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.